Today, I present to you Jared Ellner, my stylist, my closest confidant, my soulmate, my fashion soulmate. Sometimes my boyfriend, but that's weird. Uh, no, today I'm going to be talking fashion with the only person I want to talk about fashion with, Jared, my stylist, my fashion soulmate. I've always been very into fashion myself, and I truly do believe that my relationship with Jared has allowed me to explore fashion with less of someone who's telling me what to do and rather a partner in crime. You know, somebody who also has a fashion mind, who is excited about putting together looks, coming up with new things, experimenting for various events and even day to day life. We are true collaborators, and together we put together outfits, and that's really all it is. And I can't wait for you to hang out with Jared because, my God, I love hanging out with Jared. Oh, I do it all the time. He's bestie. But now you get to have a little piece of Jared, and I had to drag him on here. So enjoy Jared, and don't take it for granted because he is a rare fruit. Were you a stylish kid?
Uh, my first instinct is to scream no. I really wasn't a stylish kid. I was just obsessed with fashion, like deep cut, like fashion. Actually, I grew up in like a repressed town, so I was like not that stylish.
So, like,
Yeah.
your style was like fitting in with the kids.
Totally.
What was that? Like, describe an outfit for
It's
Jared in
like-
like high school.
It's kind of similar to what I wear now because I just wear a t-shirt and pants. Like that's what happens. But it was like a bad t-shirt and like ill-fitting. Like no one
It was a worse t-shirt and a
And
worse
worse
pair of
pants.
pants.
and that's it. There wasn't much going on, but which is embarrassing.
Well, that's like one of my favorite things about you, though, is that like before we started working together, I was like, stylists must have the best personal style.
Mm.
It must be so insane and dynamic and crazy. Like, it must be present there. What
Yeah.
was so fascinating to me about you is that your personal style is understated. It's not like you're, wearing like an Alexander McQueen gown to like your
Yeah,
birthday party.
Literally.
You're wearing like Carhartt's
Yeah.
t-shirt,
Yeah.
but like with a chic little boot.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so to me, it's so fascinating that your interest in fashion seems to be outside of yourself. It's not like you're obsessed with what you put on you. You're obsessed with the art of it. Elaborate on that.
I just didn't think about it. Like, I didn't think about what I was wearing too hard. If I'm like, growing up, happy and like fit in, great. We love it. And then it progressed and like, hopefully it got cuter and just like simple. But I've never been a person who like stares in the mirror and is like, okay, how does this fit? And what does this look like? And what do I have to do to look like this? But I'm obsessed with like how other people look and how to like turn someone else into something. And I think that's hopefully translated to my style where
Yeah.
like it improved and now I do think about it, but it was never about like, oh my God, I have to be a stylist because I love sneakers or something, you know what I mean? Like, and I have 500 sneakers. I have 2 sneakers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
It's so like you're weirdly a minimalist with your own closet.
Yeah.
Like if I go into your closet, which I do, I'm like looking around and
There's nothing.
it's simple. It's effective. It's like I feel like you have your uniform so that you can focus on putting other people into their little costume.
Totally.
And this is not a personal inward art form for you. It's very outward.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it's all about putting things out.
For sure. Honestly, it's like each time somebody gets dressed, it's like a little like art project. I'm doing little dioramas. Yeah. That's what it feels like.
You're doing a little diorama on me, and then I'm in leather underwear on the
And somehow it's a really slutty diorama.
Yeah, it's so crazy, but it's totally hot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And effective at the party.
And inappropriate.
And
But
super inappropriate.
it's totally fine.
And it was controversial.
Was it?
People were like, who's this fucking freak? And then they were like, She's kind of cool,
Wait
actually.
a second.
She's
They're taking their pants off. We're talking about when you wore Acne Studios
Yes,
underwear, leather,
yes.
and a jacket.
Yes.
And nothing else.
And nothing else. It was like actually, we'll get into that later. We'll talk about all of our looks later.
What?
Like all of the fun risks we've taken because
Yeah.
we got riskier later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you went to fashion school
Mm-hmm.
in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Parsons.
I went to Parsons, but I went for design. I did not dream of being a stylist.
Mhm.
I don't think there was one time that I was growing up that I dreamt of being a stylist. I wanted to be a designer, like always.
Yes.
And then after college, I just started working at a magazine. And then you quite literally turned me into a stylist. I would not have been a stylist. Something else would have happened. But you were like, wait, I need a stylist. And I was like, I'll do it. But that's why. I never thought about it.
Yeah.
But I went to school for fashion, which is also like, the fashion kids are less like, what's my vibe? And they show up in like something blank and they're like, what's your vibe?
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting about it is that for me, like fashion is so personal for me. I do love fashion objectively. Like I do enjoy looking at it and analyzing it and thinking about it. But it's like I think I only do because I like using it as a form of personal expression.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what sets apart, I'm realizing, like a true fashion head who's like, I want to work in this shit in the sense that I'm designing, I'm a stylist, I mean, this is not true across the board, but I'm noticing it more.
Yeah.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it more and it just depends.
Do you disagree? What do you mean?
Because I'm like, now I'm thinking about it and there are definitely some stylists who it's very personal for them too.
Yeah.
Like they want to be dressed up.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So
it's a mix. Some
mix.
people need to like live in the fantasy of it too, along with the people that they're dressing. And I think I'm like just starting to have more fun with that. But I never got into this to be involved at all. Like I just want to like be behind the scenes and like do the cute things and like make it all happen and then like disappear.
Yeah.
But I think the people who are excited by like being in the spotlight too, it's a different story.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
Jared needs to be in the spotlight and isn't. Isn't it always this way? Those who really deserve to be in the spotlight because they're so special, they just want to be hidden.
I just want to go to bed.
They just want to go to bed. It's actually true. I try to make Jared go out with me on the weekends and he's like, I'm sending my boyfriend Owen with you.
I do it for you more than anybody in my entire life.
No, it's amazing. Are you kidding me, Jared?
But it's
You're
still
so brave with me.
Every 3 asks, 2 of them are no's.
Yeah.
But for anyone else, it's just a blanket no.
I know, but that's why like I love our relationship.
Totally. We
You know
push
what
each
I mean?
other.
It's like we're perfect for each other. We're soulmates.
We are soulmates.
Okay, so you went to fashion school. You were like, I want to be a designer. Now you are a designer and you design clothes.
Not. I mean,
yeah, you do. You know how to design clothes and you design clothes.
We're working on it.
You are a phenomenal designer. I've worn your clothes.
Totally. You actually have.
I
That's
know.
true.
Yeah. So stop lying to the public because it's just weird.
That was a scary moment for me.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I think that was one of like our first 5 fittings maybe. And we were just doing like cute stuff to dress up in and I put you in it and you were like, this is so cute.
Yes.
And I didn't say anything until like after you'd worn it or something because I don't want to like influence you
Totally
and be like, I made this, but I did make that.
Well, it's deeply personal to create something and then, you know, it's even scarier. Actually, in retrospect, I'm scared. Like imagine you had showed it to me and been like, what do you think of this? And I'd said, oof, Jared, that's hideous. And
but
you made it?
But that's fair. You need feedback. By the way, that's happened, not with you, with other people. I'll tell you about it later.
I can't wait. I'm already thinking about. Okay, so I'm curious about your education. What's one thing that you learned from going to fashion school that you feel like is invaluable, if anything? And what's one thing that you wish you had learned and you didn't?
Something that I learned that was invaluable, I like knowing how clothes are made and like how to fit them is like, I don't know how you do this without it. Because there are so many times where, one, we're rolling up to the red carpet and the dress falls apart. We have to sew it back together.
We have to tell that story later.
Horrifying.
Happened to us.
It was terrifying
It was
in the moment. There are bigger issues, but that was horrible.
It was terrible.
Horrible. But like knowing how to repair something, knowing how to make something fit. Clothes are not meant to fit everybody. They're meant to fit like one person. So you have
Mhm.
to like really mold it and shape it and make it
Yeah.
look like flawless. And that takes
Yes.
like knowing where to pull that tucks that in, that like cinches hair. Like remember the dress you wore for Business of Fashion? Like that's a contraption. Something like knowing how to turn that into something that actually fits is like
Yes.
I don't know how I would do this without that. I don't know how people do it without knowing how to make or adjust clothes.
It's not like you're taking something off the rack and you're getting it in the correct size and then you're putting it on somebody, and it's like, and it's not also like, oh, if this doesn't fit, then we're not wearing it. It's like,
Totally.
no, a lot of times we're taking these pieces that are like, okay, there's one size. And it's basically like, can we make this work?
Yeah.
And it is a huge, huge, huge piece of everything that we do. Is like
Yeah.
trying to figure out how can we make this look right? Because I mean, especially when we're working with pieces from the runway and stuff like that, it's like it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's but I never even thought about that. Like the technical side of the structure of a garment, that is huge and invaluable.
But there are so many instances where it's just you and I in a dressing room somewhere or like somewhere random
True.
or in a remote part of I don't even know where it's just like me, you, and some safety pins. And it's like if I didn't feel confident in my ability to alter things, I would be like, okay, well, you're gonna look horrible. And there's nothing we can
Well,
do.
there's gonna be something weird and baggy in the crotch.
It looks amazing, but it's just one giant lump on the back.
Yeah. Okay, that's huge.
That's something I'm really happy that I learned.
Yep.
Something that I wish we'd spent more time on. This is I don't really know how to describe this, but like I wish there was a more emphasis on like how you put an outfit together and like genuinely what you are so good at doing and like why you are so good at fashion. You can put pieces together and you know what that style evokes. Yeah, this is gonna be really steamy in a second.
You're literally making me
But it's true. You are like
Thank you.
You are brilliant for that. I've learned so much from you because that's not how I look at fashion, and you look at fashion in a way that's so personal, and you can figure out how to turn random pieces into like a style or a vibe. And if I had known or thought about fashion like that, I think I would be better. Like if I had started there.
Okay, so you start working at a magazine, you're doing editorial styling for the magazine. You're right?
I started as an assistant, but yeah,
What?
eventually.
Because you did that for me. Wait, tell the story of how we met. Sorry.
Okay, great.
Do that.
I was working at a magazine called Garage Magazine. I was so lucky to work there. It was a magazine of 6 people, and I was the assistant. And then I worked there for years with like the fucking sickest team, and I learned so much. It was insane. And then by the end, like year like 3.5, I started styling my own shoots and like working less as an assistant and more as an editor. And they wanted to do a TikTok shoot because TikTok was like it. And
So
they were
ironic
like,
now.
like the
Insane.
most ironic
Yeah.
thing possible. They were like, okay, let's do a TikTok shoot. What is that? What do we do? And I forget how, but I remember being like, we should use Emma Chamberlain for it. And they were like, okay, that's never going to happen. And I was like, yeah, I know, but we're spitballing. This is brainstorming. And then shockingly, I guess you were down.
Duh.
And they were like, okay, she's doing it. And I was like, oh, shit. And they were like, you're going to style it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to jump off a bridge. But it was actually great.
We had so much fun.
That was a fun shoot.
Okay, so it was basically we shot for like what? 7 hours?
Yeah.
It felt like for one TikTok. And
One.
it had crazy transitions.
This is when no one knew what TikTok was,
Yeah.
what the point of it was. I remember doing the story and being like, this is going to be so out of touch in 3 weeks, but we still did it. And
Totally.
it was great, but also it was in the era where TikTok was just dance. That's it.
Yes.
It was a song and it was a dance.
Yes.
There was nothing else.
Maybe a lip sync.
Maybe. I don't even know. I don't even know if lip syncing.
Maybe not even a lip sync.
I don't even know if they heard of it yet.
No.
So it was basically you doing one TikTok, switching outfits
Yes.
the entire time. And I have like a lot of criticism for that shoot because like it was the first thing I ever did. I would change a lot, but
I have such a fondness for the way that
Really?
you styled that.
why?
Because, okay, it was campy to the max. And to me, I don't think that TikTok would have been interesting
Mm.
had the styling been maybe more cool or maybe more like it kind of had to be campy and crazy and fun.
Yeah.
And you put me in this like insane dress that had the
The
crazy,
bows?
the big, it was
Yeah.
so loud and so crazy. And it was so, that's what made the TikTok. And I had like pink eyeshadow on.
You did.
And it was like, also the hairstylist taped my face back.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Yeah.
I
You looked
so
amazing.
good. Holy fuck.
You looked so good.
Every time I've gotten my face taped for a shoot after that point, it's been like, damn, like I can't ever go back.
No.
Like,
now.
Damn, this shit feels good.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
really
it hurts
nice.
so bad.
Oh, it's horrible. But the result is like a relief.
Whoa, it's like, wow.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know what getting your face taped means, you put there's two sticky pads that go on your temples, and then there's little hooks on them, and then there's an elastic that you put around your head, and it
just
pulls,
lifts the
it
whole
like
fucking
lifts
thing.
your face as though you have like a snatched ponytail,
Yeah.
and your face just looks, it's completely toxic.
It's horribly
It's
toxic.
like horribly,
It's ruining our
it's ruining
world industry.
No. This is when we all say social media is fake. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, the girls'
Everyone's
faces are taped. Okay, so let's go back. So
Sorry.
that was me. But also Jared, you're
That
on
was
thin
me.
ice.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you're putting me in these crazy outfits for this
Yeah.
TikTok shoot. And I at the time didn't have a stylist. For me it was almost anti the idea. Because I was like,
Well, you are style. I'm sorry. You became who you are in part for your style and how good you are at doing that. And that's like such a crazy thing because that's like, how does one even do that?
You know what? I actually do think that that's why I was so against it, because I was like, I'm going to lose my edge.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me anymore. And so I was always so against the idea.
Which is very valid.
But the only time I would work with a stylist was at a photo shoot when it was like editorial and it was like, okay, I'm being put in like a crazy outfit.
Yeah.
And this is so fun, but also
This is
for
not
my
me.
day to day, or like for, even for an event, I used to style myself and I would really do bad at that.
I don't
that
believe
was
that.
not good. No, my first event outfit ever
What is
was
it?
insane.
Wait, we've never looked at that. What was it?
Imagine this.
Tell me. I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a pair of super high-waisted gray plaid pants that were tapered though.
Oh.
So that's where they got bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a Gucci boot, lace up. Yeah. Little heel. No, it gets worse. I had a white bodysuit on.
I'm so sorry.
This whole event that I went to, not only was my worst outfit, but also it was that embarrassing speech I did at the Streamy Awards.
Oh no.
I won an award and I went up on stage and I bombed the speech and I still get made fun of about it to this day. Fair enough, you guys.
This is
You
good
win.
though. You need to be
Character building.
humbled.
Yes.
You can't. This is something we actually discussed. You can't be hot all the time.
Nope.
You
And you
can't.
shouldn't.
It's not right for the fabric of society. Like, it's not good.
You cannot. And
You need to
anyone who
bomb.
is
He's a bad person.
bad, evil, evil,
Stay
evil,
away.
evil, evil.
Something's wrong.
Sinister.
Yeah.
Sinister. If you can't find a skeleton in the closet, like an embarrassing skeleton in the closet of a human being,
Something's wrong.
no. Huge red flag. Abort mission.
Like,
Like, get out. Because
Totally.
it's not going to be good. So, yeah, that was really bad.
that's tough.
So, like, my personal style, I did not want to be threatened, but I was like, and I just was scared. I was like, if I hire a stylist, what's going to happen to my own personal identity? But I was also at the time, like, working with stylists only for photo shoots. So that's how I met Jared. The whole styling world, like, what a stylist was, I always thought of it as, this is so business.
Yeah.
This is so for press, for
Yeah.
magazines, for
Yeah.
this, for that, for the
Totally.
red carpet. And at the time, I was rarely doing those things. So it was like, I don't know, it was just interesting because I met you in a context where I was like, this is so fun to like work with somebody on this and I love this, but also where does this fit into my life? Anyway, but then I was like, no, something clicked for me and I was like, I need a stylist.
Well, you became a busy girl.
Well, it was like a combination of like, oh, I'm starting to go to more events. I'm starting to
Yeah.
have more photo shoots for things. But also like it'd be so fun to have just like a partner in crime on this.
Yeah.
Who has the resources too to go out and this is huge. Basically rent things.
Yeah.
Lend things.
Yeah.
Because It's just unsustainable to be always buying new things and then now you own them.
It makes no sense.
Whereas like Jared and I are like technically renting things all the time.
Yeah.
And then I wear it and then we give it back.
Mhm.
So it's like, anywho. So I was like, I need a stylist. And Jared was the only option.
It's interesting that if you don't want to have a stylist because you don't want to lose your identity, but when you start doing so much that you need to be in clothes so much, if you work with a bunch of random people, then you actually don't have any identity. I think it's like
Yes.
it's really helpful to have somebody to grow with so that you can like start to feel like one brain and that you don't
Yes.
have to explain anything and they know about your weird stomach issues and if
Yes.
what's gonna work with that or not
Yes.
and also like what vibe you are in your life. Like it
No bodysuits, Jared. Emma might have diarrhea at the function.
exactly. No thongs because I can't actually say this. It's gonna make it
No
really,
thongs because
there's
Emma
shit in
will
there.
Emma
Yeah.
will shit herself in
Yeah.
them and it will be everywhere. No. I mean, I think like what happened is my publicist Kate was like, you need a stylist. Like you can't handle like dressing yourself for events, dressing yourself for like photo shoots, dressing yourself for even, even just pulling pieces for day-to-day life. Like you just don't have time.
Yeah.
And she was like, you really need to consider a stylist. And I was so against it. And then she was like, what about Jared? And I was like, yeah, actually, that is perfect because I could tell that you were never going to make it your agenda.
Yeah.
Like I could tell immediately that fashion for you, there's not ego in it for you.
No.
Like it's art for you.
Yeah.
And that was so clear to me on that day that the second she said it, I was like, that makes complete sense. That is exactly who it is. And, very, very quickly, I feel like our relationship just became what it is. And I would say it's very unusual.
Mm.
Do you agree?
I can't stop smiling. That was the sweetest time. I was so scared during that
It was
time.
like falling in love.
That was actually falling in love. But like
Right?
the scare, I hope you weren't nervous. I was so nervous during that time.
I was nervous too because it's like, this is like weirdly an intimate thing.
I'm like inside you. Like I'm like taking your pants off and like putting on like G-string. Like it's so intimate.
I mean, like at the Met one year, like he's cutting my underwear. Like he's like up my skirt inside with scissors, cutting this seam around my underwear because you could see it through. Did you hear that? You can see it through my skirt. It is an incredibly intimate relationship on an emotional level and on a physical level.
So intimate. It's crazy.
Right?
It's insane. But I think when we first started working together, we did Chamberlain Coffee Shoot and I put you in. I didn't know that your mom was going to be at this shoot. No one told me. And for whatever reason, I thought it was appropriate to put you in a gorgeous, but like such a slutty outfit for the first outfit we'd ever done, like officially together. Oh my God. It was stunning. It was this beaded mini skirt and top, but it was so short and the top was so tiny.
And my nipple was kind of poking through the
just
bead.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. And we were like, oh, but the
and you were in the
ruin
highest heels.
Yes.
Like all the Chamberlain Coffee Shoots before that, tame, demure, it's holiday, full skank. It was so fun though. And then your mom literally walked out from the back room and my heart sank. And I was like, it's over.
Yeah, but now you know that like no one's a bigger fan of Jared than my mom.
She loved it. No. No one's a bigger fan of, well, maybe me, but also you looking hot and slutty.
My mom loves it.
She's obsessed with it.
My mom does like, yeah, she does love it.
She loves it.
Because she's like, Emma, like, why are you not tapping into this?
Yeah,
Have fun.
Literally.
You're young.
She's correct.
Like, enjoy.
But not all moms are like that. So
No.
I did get a little nervous.
Yeah, but then you found out.
But then I found out and I was like, okay, we should go shorter.
Yeah, like, when are we going shorter? And
Yeah.
then, fast forward to now I wear underwear on the red carpet.
Yeah,
So it's totally fine.
So she's super happy.
She's super happy. She's really proud of just kind
You.
of like what I've turned into. Wait, describe our relationship in your words.
My words?
Yeah. And then I'll describe our relationship in my words.
Well,
I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay, cool. Truthfully, like, I really do feel like you're my fashion sister soulmate. Like, there are very few people who maybe not agree, because we mostly agree, but like who understand what I want to articulate or I want you to articulate or what I'm envisioning or imagining. Like, you I think, can understand what I'm going for very easily. And a lot of people, it takes a lot of work and a lot of proving and a lot of trust and a lot of like successes to be like, okay, I trust you. But I think you really get it and also are excited by the same things. I feel deeply connected to you in a disgusting way. That's very embarrassing.
It's fashion, and then it's also like, because the thing is, Jared and I, if we were not doing fashion, would still be best friends anyway.
I would hope so.
Jared, you're my best friend. I'm like, I don't have anyone else, Jared.
By the way, same.
No, I know, we need
You're
each
my
other.
best friend.
And then with Owen, the three of us, it's like, ooh, this is for life.
I don't know if this is the right description, but I will never, ever, ever be more grateful for a relationship, probably ever in my life. Maybe my family. Maybe Owen. But like you.
Maybe Owen?
No, Owen. But also, maybe not.
Owen is literally.
Honestly, maybe
Owen's
not.
in the group chat right now, like, Jared, what the fuck was that?
He heard it. Yeah, he heard it.
Yeah.
He probably did hear it. But genuinely, because nobody else, one, still like allows me to like do what I want to do in a way that you allow me to, but also it's really a lot of like trust and power to put in someone's hands and to feel confident enough to choose a random, I don't know, how old was I at the time? 23-year-old to be like, okay, you is crazy. It's crazy. Like, you fully changed my life and
Stop.
I will never get over it.
We literally have to talk about something so like
so superficial.
so like inappropriate and superficial after this, or else I'm gonna start crying. Because Jared, I mean, you to me are complete fashion soulmate, and there's not only do we see eye to eye, but we also disagree.
We've gotten good at disagreeing lately.
No. It's amazing, Jared.
It's good.
I would argue creative relationships are fucking pointless if it just becomes an echo chamber.
Yeah.
If you agree about everything, no one gets challenged. No one learns. It's so healthy to disagree. I mean, I think that's why we create so many looks that we're proud of together, because we fight.
Yeah.
It's like, no, not that. Like, hair needs to be up. Jared, hair needs to be down.
We do get in a lot of glam specific fights.
Yeah, this is like for red carpet events.
There's a lot of back
We're
and forth.
always like, Jared's like, yeah, you're wearing no ponytail down to the ass for today.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna have to be ponytail.
Jared,
down to the
can we
ass.
just do like natural? Like, let's just do like a natural, like super scruffy. Like, looks like I like didn't brush my hair for 4 days. He's like,
there was a
ponytail
period
down to your ankle.
there was a period where that was the fight though. And for like 6 months, I feel like there was a certain length of your hair where you're like, scruffy, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was like, it can't be.
I know.
And then we
like,
kept
"Oh,
getting
not
into fights.
again."
I have a few memories of some good fights. But also, just before I forget, the opposite I feel like happens too, where either someone gets dressed by a stylist and they take all of their opinions completely, or they need to dictate the show and they have to like do what they want to do, and they are unable to actually tap into a stylist's ideas.
Yes.
Because they're either too insecure, or they need to stick to what they've done, or they're controlling, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's also something too. So it's both ways. Like, both people have to be equally open.
I recently did some self-reflecting because I was like, my style really is all over the place. Like, we go to one event and I look like this like pretty little princess, and then we go to another event and I'm wearing, the leather underwear, and then I'm going to another event and I'm a little, I'm like schoolgirl, like preppy vibe, and then I'm playing tennis and then I look like an alien, and it's like I've always wondered, like, what is the through line? Is there a through line? Does there need to be a through line?
As long as it feels authentic, then it's on the same path. But that's the thing. You have so many different facets that like all of that's authentic. Like, I think you're so comfortable with so many parts of yourself that like you're like,
there's a lot of parts.
there's a lot of parts. So there's a lot of looks.
There's a lot of looks.
So it's just different. But I don't know. I think that's the most fun part. And also I think more recently, for sure, we have gotten more experimental because you're even more comfortable and we're even more comfortable. And also it's a sense of like, who gives a fuck?
Yes.
I feel like we've gotten to a point where it's like, if we feel like it's good, even if it doesn't translate 1,000,000%,
Yep.
like we know what we did.
Yeah, and we fucking like it.
Yeah.
I think that's something interesting I've noticed about the fashion world from the perspective of people in fashion and from the perspective of people outside of fashion. I've just noticed that the fashion world and all the various eyes on it take it way too fucking seriously. If somebody, a celebrity, wears a look on the carpet and the masses don't like it,
Yeah.
it's like
It's headline news.
it's headline news.
Yeah.
It's actually really insane how fashion has that effect.
It's crazy.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's just a waste of time to like be that critical about something that's so surface level. But then again, I also am obsessed with it, and that's what I spend my whole life doing. So I find it fascinating. So I kind of bounce back and forth. I think fashion is as equally dumb and a waste of time and overhyped as I am deathly obsessed with it and will never stop thinking about it and spend every second of my day working on it. So like
Yes.
I'm not a good barometer for this because I can't make up my mind about it.
What I've noticed is people who aren't necessarily in the fashion world, they don't really care. It's not their sport, okay?
Yeah,
They are really judgmental of fashion.
totally.
Like most people who are not in fashion think fashion is stupid.
Yes.
It's actually really fascinating because I always did too. I was like, this runway show is stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like saw a show
Yeah.
on YouTube or something. And it was like there was all this stuff coming out and there was like whatever. And I remember thinking, I don't get it. What the fuck is this? Who is this for?
Yeah.
What purpose is this serving?
Mhm.
I did not understand what it was.
Yeah,
And so I thought it was dumb. And that's why I was critical of it.
totally.
I was always hypercritical of fashion because I think I didn't understand it.
Mhm.
But also I think in a weird way I was threatened by not understanding it, which made me resent it.
I think that's how a lot of people probably feel because it's so at times over the top that it's like, how could I even engage with this?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't engage with this. Wait, I'm kind of pissed about this. This is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's probably the trajectory. And also, it's not wrong. Fashion is like the most pretentious space
1000%.
unnecessarily. You find like the people with the worst morals and who care about the worst things
Yeah.
and like are so judgmental, and not even the people, but the ideals that it projects. There's so much toxicity in it. But I think if you're not someone who's going to ever directly benefit from the part, are you good?
I'm so good. Keep going.
From the parts that like are great about it. Like if you're never going to wear something for a photo shoot or I don't know, not even that, but just like dress up for the sake of dressing up. That's most people don't either have time to do that or have the freedom to explore that or express that.
Yep.
Like if you're never actually going to benefit from fashion, like it's pretty useless. But like fashion can be horrible and what it
Yeah.
promotes is pretty horrible a lot of the times.
It's true.
And we're like actively working to change that.
Maybe we can make it about the art again.
I mean,
Because I think that's what
it should be.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm realizing like both of us genuinely care about fashion because it to us is like this is art to us.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't think that that is true for the rest of the industry.
No, fashion is like, for whatever reason, however this happened over history, so deeply tied to power. And I think that's just fucked a lot of shit up. And like, I think also part of the allure and fun of the fashion industry is like the like sexy, am I gonna make it in? Are people gonna respect me? Oh my God, this is so tough. Wait, I did it. Like, it's just like the Devil Wears Prada.
It total like I that movie I think is all anyone needs to know.
Yeah.
As a stylist, how do you manage to figure out how to create a look that will translate to the world?
Mm.
What is that process like? But then also, where's your head at when you're sending off, your person, your client,
Yeah.
and they're about to go get a bunch of photos taken and there's now nothing you can do? Like, talk about all this.
Literally terrifying, sending someone out and having no control. horrible. You have to have thought through like every possible thing that could go wrong or look wrong or be weird or not make sense. So scary. And like, who knows? There's a gust of wind when the photo's taken. Uh-oh. Horrible.
Her boobies out.
Her boobs out. Literally.
Have I had a boobie out yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've ever told this sort of story. Like, I don't think
What?
I've ever talked about this publicly. Maybe I have. When I go to events, when I do red carpets, when I go to the fashion shows, I'm also a mess.
Yeah.
You know, because
As
I'm
you
like,
should be. Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't matter how good I feel in person. It doesn't matter how confident I feel in person. If the lighting's off, if the photographers aren't good, if, I don't know, there's a weird shadow somewhere. I mean, Jared, you know, it's ruined my day.
Which one are you referring to?
It's not always the outfit. It's like, it's sometimes even just like the glam, like how the makeup looks, how the hair looks in person. Like Venice day one red dress
Which was crazy
looked
because I
so
thought
good
you
on
looked
Instagram.
amazing.
Or no, it looked so good on iPhone. Like it was whatever, but my face just looked weird.
You looked so good. But I understand it. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you.
It just didn't. No, but it's like sometimes it comes down to bad lighting.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Like there's certain red carpets that always have good lighting.
Yeah.
It's like
Vanity
it's
Fair.
Vanity Fair, Oscar party. It's the Met Gala. You don't like the Met lighting?
Sometimes I do. Usually it's great, but Vanity Fair is like
Vanity Fair is the best.
gorgeous.
Wait, what else is good?
You haven't gone, but the Academy Gala is so good.
The lighting is really good there.
Gorgeous.
See, but these are the things that we think about because, you know, it's genuinely so frightening to, and it shouldn't be, right? Like in an ideal world, it's like, we don't care. It's like, you know, you don't look at a photo and ever think you look bad. In an ideal world, I'm so sorry. That is not.
Oh my God. It doesn't.
That's an impossible place. Not impossible. I'm not going to say that. That
It's
is
a
such a
hard place.
challenging place to get to that majority of us are not going into a red carpet like, yo, fuck it. Like if I look like shit,
Yeah.
I look like shit. I don't care.
Yeah, but also there's so much effort put into those moments.
You want to
that
be
it's like,
happy with what it looks like. How do you style a look that you think will translate well when it ends up on the internet instead of it just being in person? Because
Right.
what have you found is the most effective? Is it like taking photos of it with your iPhone and seeing if it translates? Like sometimes in a 2D form, it's like,
Definitely.
Okay.
That's like step one.
Yeah.
It has to look good in iPhone pics. It has to look good in a shitty quality photo. Like it just has to. That's if it doesn't pass that test, it's not being worn.
done.
Lighting is a lot of it. So also imagining like every type of lighting it could be in. It's basically just like a huge checklist of like, okay, well, this won't look good because of this, or this
Yeah.
won't look good because it's not, even though in person it's snatched, if you look at it from a weird angle, it's not. Like there's so many things that are so specific to each look that I don't know if there's a way to categorize it all at once, but it's a lot of like canceling out.
It's basically finding something that hits all the criteria.
Yeah.
Which is super challenging.
And then even still, it's like, let's
Yeah.
hope. Yeah.
Okay, why don't we tell them some of our horror stories?
Oh. Okay.
Why don't you tell the story about the
Red
Lancome
dress.
event at the Louvre? Red dress. What happened, Jared? You tell it.
It was a beautiful dress. It was gorgeous. It was a
Gorgeous.
vintage red dress that we learned was very delicate. And a lot of times you can't cut things because it's vintage or it's a runway sample or whatever. So you have to find a way to tailor it without cutting it, which is challenging. And this specific dress was too long. So we had to figure out a way to make it shorter, but it was so thin that it wasn't an easy dress to make shorter. So a special like hand sewn alteration that didn't cut anything had to be done. And it was like kind of a big train. So it was all the way around. So that happened. You tried it on. You did glam. You were doing photos beforehand.
Yep.
And I looked over and you're like, uh-oh. And the whole thing had come undone. The whole hand sewn hem.
Yeah.
That probably
that's
took
where
like,
it started. Yes.
right?
Yes.
That probably took hours
Yep.
for our sweet tailor to do. And this is just what happens. Like no shade to the tailor. Like that just happens when you're
because
working
my shoe
with,
got caught on it and ripped the thin thread, and it's just like that's
all
that.
That's
yeah.
it. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
So you got in the car. Luckily, it was kind of a long drive.
Long drive.
Maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yep.
Like that's nice. And it was a bumpy ride. And I just had to sit on the floor and hand sew the whole thing.
Yep.
And then finally done. gorgeous. We're
It
so
took
happy.
Jared like quite literally 20 minutes to fix this.
Just the hem.
But also like it's like a complicated, like it's a type of maneuver that is really challenging to explain and even more challenging to understand. Like I quite literally didn't know how Jared was sewing this in a certain way to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. It was like very confusing too. We had like our flashlights like shining on him, and he's like the fucking car. Jared's like sewing my skirt. It was like insane.
It was
and
horrible.
It was horrible.
And
But
then
yeah,
5 minutes, no, I would say 3 minutes before.
No. I'd say 2.
As we were pulling up.
Yeah.
As we were pulling up, we looked down, the center seam of your dress popped. Like out of nowhere.
So crazy.
This was our worst luck yet.
No, the security of the event was trying to open the car door, and Jared's like, "Shut the fucking door!" I was like, "Jared, baby,
Chill
that
out.
was so weird." He's like, "Shut the fucking door."
You're like, this is not that big of a deal.
No,
Your
it actually
whole
was
underwear's
because my
exposed.
entire cooter was out. Because
Quite
it was
literally.
it was like split down the fucking center. It
What
was.
the fuck
It actually
happens?
wasn't that big. It was probably like what?
Yeah, but
2
it was
inches?
like very vaginal. It was
It
a
was quite
slit
literally on
right.
my cooter.
Yeah, like that was a hole for your vagina.
Yeah,
Anyway, so we had to close that.
come in handy.
So we actually should have left it, and you could have had a lot of fun. We had to close that, and that was really stressful. I was like kind of stressed before that, but then when we were like there, and they were like,
Yeah, but thank God you had thread from the bottom. Like, thank God you brought your sewing kit.
yeah,
Because imagine like you hadn't needed it so desperately, you could have forgotten it.
I will never. I don't think I have it on me now, but I will never go anywhere without a sewing kit
Ever
now.
again. You
Ever.
can't.
No, it's impossible not to.
It's impossible. That was
So
bad.
that was a horrible one. That was a really bad experience,
We
but
pulled
it
it
turned out
off.
great.
Turned out totally great. That same week, remember one of our favorite looks that we ever did, which was that, it was the Armani privé dress. It
Yeah.
was it was black. It was completely beaded all over. It had sort of an
1,000
argyle.
pounds.
I was about to say, this is where the catastrophe strikes for this one. It looked fucking amazing.
Where was the catastrophe?
It was fully intact. It was
you were
90
in hell.
pounds, Jared.
I'm
You
like,
know what?
What was so
Maybe
hard?
this is my story to tell.
You tell
Jared,
it.
okay, so this dress is like unbelievable. It looks so good, but there's a few challenging elements to it. Number one,
Oh, your breasts.
it was very much like a spaghetti strap sort of dress situation.
Barely there.
The boobs were almost out. Like we had to tailor
Yeah.
it so much to keep the boob in. The entire night, my boob was almost out.
That was fun for me.
That was so fun. I loved it.
No, you
I was
didn't.
like, oh my God, Jared, I'm about to absolutely have a boob fall out in front of Anna Wintour.
And in heels, though.
Also, this dress was 90 pounds.
So heavy.
But it's not only is it 90 pounds.
90
it's-
pounds on a spaghetti strap.
Exactly. So it's just digging into my fucking shoulders.
Yeah.
Like we had to put concealer on my neck because my neck was like chafing and bloody because it was like so heavy. And not only that, but I had bleached eyebrows. That was actually
Oh,
the
yeah.
good part.
That was the best part.
That was the good
That was an
part.
amazing part.
Yeah, I love that.
We should do that again.
But then whenever I would take my makeup off and
so
like be in the
scared.
hotel lobby, like after everybody would be like, oh my God, because I don't wear makeup that much. And off duty, whatever.
Off
and
duty, no eyebrow is like, ugh,
whoa,
she's so
she's
sick.
like, what is wrong? It looks like
Yeah.
full, like, oh my God, like
like,
that's a lot of tequila for her.
yeah, literally.
It makes the dark circles come out.
yeah.
It makes like the lips look extra pale. Like it literally looks like
but it's so good.
she ate recalled cantaloupe from
Lit- totally.
from the grocery
She's
store.
only eating spoiled fish.
She's super. She has severe food poisoning.
It's very Voldemort.
It's super Voldemort, which
Sometimes it's hot.
I totally think it's hot.
Sometimes it's not.
True.
But you will be doing bleached eyebrows.
Totally. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm like, you sold me because the thing about bleached eyebrows is that it gives more room for the eyeshadow look.
That's literally the only reason.
Yeah.
And it's sick.
It's so sick. You can like bring the shadow all the way up.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know. I feel like people are more intimidated by me with the bleach brow. They're like, oh, she's
Well,
totally.
it's super scary because it's like, holy shit. Is
What's
she going to
wrong?
stab me? Is she going to hug me?
Yes.
Do I want to fuck her? Do I want to be her? Like, what is this? Or should I just run away?
No, everybody runs away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's your favorite look?
That we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have one that immediately comes to mind.
What is it?
It's the Margiela look.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very solid one.
Like, I don't know why I love that so much. To paint a picture for you all, it was this white bodysuit
Mhm.
with fishnet tights over it,
Mhm.
white heels
With a sock.
with a sock, which I always love the sock.
Mm.
And ooh, I loved my second Met look though too. That was so good. Like the switch doing like
That
the
was
blue
gorgeous.
gown,
Your third.
third.
Mm. You've just gone too many times. My 8th Met look was my favorite. By the way, it's coming.
It's coming soon. No, I loved the blue and then I loved the black.
Yeah.
Like I love that we had like 2 looks for the Met, like one
Yeah.
for the carpet, one for the interviews.
Can I be honest about that one though?
Yeah.
That one is one of the looks where I feel like we both, but I especially learned what works and what doesn't, because
Yeah.
that look in person
Was
so
unbelievable.
good.
It
Oh
didn't
my God.
translate as well.
It didn't translate as well as it should have, which is, it's still, I thought you looked amazing. But
It was gorgeous.
in person and in videos specifically, you were a princess.
The vibe of the look really did change on the red carpet, and it
Mhm.
did not like that look for something more editorial.
Yeah.
It would have had this different vibe,
Yeah.
but it was still like no regrets.
I loved it. The two, but
Yeah.
that was also your genius idea. They Miu Miu gave us 2 of the same
Yes,
things.
yes.
And which was so nice. And you were like, we can't not use these.
Well, that's what it was. So we
This
had
is
2 versions of the
not
same.
sustainable.
Well, they made 2 colors of the gown,
Yeah.
one in black, one in pale blue, because they were like, we don't know what color you're gonna like better. But I was having a really hard time deciding which color I liked better, and I did decide. I was like, let's use both.
Mhm.
Let's use both, and because I really don't want to waste.
No.
You know, I don't want to waste one. Like it just would be such a shame. So that was so fun.
That was great.
I really loved the second look because it was like so fun to be at the Met, but in this like casual ass outfit. Like I was
Yeah.
wearing, it was like I was wearing a loafer
Wearing-
heel and
literally.
like in like a
And a long
quarter
skirt.
length skirt.
It was very
It
you.
was so me, but
Yeah.
it was like still very. It still felt elevated enough. I mean, it was definitely more approachable, but it was fun to go casual mode.
Mhm.
Because years in the past, it was like, oh my God, I'm still wearing this like very, very over the
Complicated,
top,
yeah.
complicated gown while I'm like doing these interviews.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to
Chill.
me like I haven't breathed in 2 hours just thinking about that.
2 years.
2
yeah.
years actually. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Finally exhaling. I don't know. It's just like
Yeah, but that's valid stress.
I know. We love it. We love it. We live for it.
I actually do live for it.
When it comes to being involved in fashion, I think it's crucial to appreciate it for what it is, appreciate the art that it is, while also understanding that it's a novelty.
Yeah.
Do you think fashion has a cultural impact that is significant, like deeply significant? And do you think it impacts society, or do you think that it doesn't? And that's okay.
I think it has quite literally everything to do with what's happening in society. I mean,
But what do you think comes first? Do you think fashion imitates life and society in the world and culture? Or do you think culture follows fashion?
honestly, like, fashion has so much to do with how people are represented in society. Like, there's just so many examples of fashion that have, like, shaken culture. Mini skirt, no longer wearing corsets. Like,
Okay, number 1, my personal favorite, mini
the
skirt.
mini.
Jared loves. Oh my God! If you are what you love putting on your clients, you're a mini
A mini skirt. By the way, I have a mini skirt for you to try after this.
No way.
Yeah, I'll explain.
I'm coming over.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. Love a mini skirt. And also, mini skirts crazy revolutionary. That changed society. Like, women in the 19th century, 18th century were wearing, like, you were in full corsets and bloomers and gowns and ruffles. Like, you were covered in a way that's, like, shocking.
Yeah.
If you actually think about it.
Yeah.
Like, to be in a t-shirt, even pants is revolutionary.
Yeah.
Women were not allowed to wear pants at a certain point. But I will say it is so influential because our little sliver of time and what we currently wear is so different than even 50 years ago, which is so different than 50 years before that, and is so different than what it will be in 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Like, I think fashion has a deep connection to freedom and like what is acceptable and what's allowed and
Mhm.
rules and restrictions. So there's a lot of politics and culture
Yeah.
deeply embedded in fashion. I'm curious about where you see yourself next fashion wise, because there are a couple eras that I remember you being like, this is the next phase. Like when you wanted to start doing minimalism, which was like maybe a year ago,
Yeah.
maybe a little longer, you were like, trust me, it's minimalism.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we just started doing that.
Yeah.
And then it was a thing,
Yeah.
at least for us. And then currently, super grunge, super goth.
I know. Oh my God. It's so funny, Jared. Oh my God. Me? I like feel like, remember when so I wore that black dress
Yes.
to
CFDA awards.
to the CFDA awards, and it was like this corseted black strapless dress, and I did a little Vogue interview on Instagram
Mhm.
where I was like, I don't know, I've just been in like a grungier phase, and all the comments were like, that is not grunge, you fucking liar.
By the way,
What the fuck? And I was like,
They
no.
were right.
I'm like, people.
It's grunge to me.
I'm like, no. I'm like, this is so polished and so proper, but it's
Yeah, it was a little
bit-
messy.
There was a little teeny kiss of like a darker,
think it's
grungier
dark.
feeling to it. Yeah, I think grungy wasn't the right word.
I
and
think you're feeling
holy
dark.
shit, did the fashion kids get mad?
Yeah, you got slapped in the face.
Okay,
but it's fine.
It's totally fine. But by the way, humble me.
Yeah, teach me.
Teach me. Love me.
Touch me.
So, okay, to answer your question, what my next phase is, because by the way, we would need to have this conversation anyway.
We're just doing work.
Yeah, we're working right
Yeah,
now.
we're on
This
the
is a fucking
clock.
meeting. Okay, we're
Mhm.
on the clock. I'm in like a really weird phase right now.
Mm.
Like I have a few things happening in my head.
Talk to me.
Okay, number one, it's like definitely like vampire core for me.
Explain.
But like not full vampire, but like I don't know, I've been loving like it's black, white, gray.
Yeah.
It's silver jewelry.
Mhm.
It's like, super like suiting like silhouettes, like
Yeah.
like a little vest, a little, my favorite black bag is like sort of almost
Briefcase.
briefcase-esque. It's like wearing like a deep lip liner, not covering my under eye bags,
It's like a little Wednesday Addams.
straight black hair. Like my
Yeah.
hair is really dark right now, so like straight hair.
Yeah.
It's like, square toe loafer.
Uh-huh.
It's like a trench coat. I'm there,
Mm-hmm.
but like weirdly something clicked a few weeks ago, and I was like, no, I want to be a Parisian artist stereotype.
And that is.
I'm kind of tapping into.
I was
it
gonna
right
say
now,
that's this.
fully.
Yeah.
Like, beret.
Mm-hmm.
Love a beret right now.
Really?
I'll get over it in about 2 days.
Are you actually?
Yes.
I was just looking at a beret the other day and thinking, how horrible. So
no,
I want to.
Jared, can I?
I'll show you.
No.
I'll show you the one, and you're gonna understand.
Okay, yeah,
it.
because berets have to be very simple.
Yeah.
But it also can't be like too like, oh, this is a beret. If you wear, in my opinion, if you wear a beret properly,
Yeah. How would you wear a
and
beret?
it's like sitting like nicely, like kind of back on the head, like it's more like just this little thing. It doesn't read as like French painter Halloween costume. It just
Right.
reads as like this cute sort of more floppy thing that's happening.
Yep.
I have a pic of me in a beret that like fucking
Really?
hits. Yeah. But it has to be done right because you can't.
You can't fuck with a beret.
No, but it's actually a really cool vibe. The beret is cool, but it has to be understated.
Mm.
Okay? Like a black beret is ideal.
Yeah, of course.
Red, maybe, but that's a little too on the nose.
Totally.
But it's like, horizontal stripes like this. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Cardigans.
like super, like very much primary colors. It's like classic Kelly green, the most classic red you've ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
the most classic like denim blue. It's it's like a perfect mustard yellow, like French's yellow, mustard yellow. It's like that's the
Yeah.
palette. It's like French artist vibe.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's happening in my brain right now that I'm loving.
I love that.
Okay, what do you want to see me wear next? Like, what do you want my next era to be, fashion wise?
Your next era, fashion wise. I mean, I love the dark. I think it would be fun to merge that and feminine a little bit because,
Mm-hmm.
like, when you did that, when you went to Gautier, the all pink outfit,
Mm-hmm.
that mixed with like Tom Brown or Acne, those looks that we did,
Mm-hmm.
some merge between those two, I would
Yeah.
be obsessed with.
Interesting.
Something that's like a little more feminine and fragile, but like still really like dark.
Yeah. I
That's
love
exciting.
that.
I would love that.
That's also a very challenging balance, and I tend to lean more. I'm always like, I am going full tuxedo right now.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do tend to lean more towards masculine silhouettes.
Totally.
Like, that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I also think that's my comfort zone.
Well, I think it's like comfort zone, but for a reason. It works really well.
It does work for me. It works
Yeah.
for my personality, but also more than anything, it's more comfortable. So, like,
Yeah.
at an event, I'm like, I feel the rush because I'm like, I don't. Because I'm like, I don't have these tiny little spaghetti straps
Yeah.
digging into my neck and my boobs aren't out. But also,
Yeah.
like, that's a fucking vibe too.
Yeah. But you
And
are.
I like that too.
I have a mood board that I'll show you. Actually.
Wait, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be gorgeous.
It's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing.
It's the best thing
Jared,
I've ever seen.
that one was
So
so
good.
good.
Haven't seen it.
That was so good.
I really like this like high fashion editorial vibe for you that we've been exploring more. But I think it would be fun to sort of like merge a couple vibes.
Yeah.
So it's not like this time we're going goth and this time we're going.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think it maybe speaks to like your previous conversation about through lines and like maybe figuring out a way to make it feel like one girl, even if it's just for like.
I love this. I'm getting what you're saying.
It's not making much sense and it's not really that
No,
clear.
but I get it where it's like, okay, we're not so on the nose
Yes.
with a theme. It's
Yes.
not like, oh, we're going full vampire mode today, or like, oh, we're
Yes.
going like full just freakazoid alien today.
Totally.
It's like, no. We're
It's a
actually
bunch.
making something new.
Yes.
This is like Alien went to the supermarket, but whoa, why are her boobs out? But also, whoa,
She's
is
so
that
preppy.
But also, she's so preppy. Hold on a minute. Is that my mother?
That is what I want.
Right? Like something almost like giving a new feeling that still makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting challenge that I would
I
love
don't
to
know.
do with you.
And specifically, I am really excited about like princessy and goth.
Love. We're about to have
We're
princess.
so far apart
I
on
know.
what we're seeing for the future.
I'm like, okay, so I'm
I'm a
basically
little
a French
painter, man.
artist. I'm Picasso. I'm only wearing archived Picasso's clothes. I found them ultimately in the museum, and I ultimately stole them. Now I'm wearing them to Vanity Fair Oscar party.
What do you think?
Well, I'm super drunk in the clothes.
And it's a big problem. Okay, so we have a lot of different vibes to achieve.
Yeah, but that's also like what makes it fun. Like, because also
Yeah.
who knows what else is gonna pop up
Mm-hmm.
in our brains on a random Tuesday in April.
Totally. And there's a lot of time.
And there's
A lot of looks.
so much freaking time. I'm trying to think if we have like any other fun stories we leave them off with.
There has to be one. That's
I know,
I'm
like, what's
there
our,
has to
like,
be
final-
one fun story.
like
Like we haven't said anything.
You cut my underwear out at the Met. You
That was a good one.
sewed my dress. We're done.
Cool.
We'll let it be.
I'm done.
Because I have a lot of shit I have to tell you in the car. Like, I have life updates.
That's totally
like, I'm
great.
actually sick of recording this because
we have to
a lot of shit's going on.
It's fine. Okay, let's go.
Okay, yeah, let's leave. I love you, Jared. Thank you for coming on my show.
I love you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're my soulmate.
You're mine.
Okay, this is getting weird.